Get started. All right. So so every week I always have like a plan. What am I going to talk about? And I try to make sure that it's not scaffold, meaning you don't have to see the first thing in order to do what I'm going to teach and implement, just because everybody comes into this training at a different time. So what I wanted to talk about today is this amazing tool. It's called Core Present. We get it for free inside of KV Core, and I'm going to give you some real practical tips on how to use that in your existing business. So if you were watching the mega expansion, one of the things that they talked about a lot today is ways to stay in front of your sphere of influence that's actually meaningful. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I do inside of KV Core to maintain constant contact with my sphere, but then also how I can use Core Present to take it one step further. So let me move. There we go. I don't need to see myself. Let me put me over here. So the way that I do trainings, if this is the first time you've been on, if you have a question while I'm going through, don't raise your hand. Don't put it in the chat because I hardly ever see those things until the end. Just unmute yourself and ask me the question right then. So first things first, you have to create a database of your sphere of influence. These are people who could be high school graduates, people that you were friends with, back in the day. It could be your current friends. It could be people from your church. I even have I have 4 kids. And so even like the parents that are in my child's class, I have them in there. It's anybody who knows me by name. Like if someone said Jackie Durbin, they're like, oh, I know her. I consider those my sphere of influence. Now, one of the things that Wally talked about in his training was a lot of people say that magic number is 150, but he kind of says, no, it should actually be upwards of 250. So the first thing that I did was I went on Google and actually, hang on a second, someone's trying to get in. Let me go ahead and turn this off. I'm going to disable the waiting room so that way people can just come in. So the first thing that I did was I went on Google to find out how I could export the contacts that were in my Apple iCloud. Once I was able to download those, I was able to import them into my KV Core through a bulk import. If you do not have a good format for that, I created one. You can find it on my YouTube channel. If you search in Google KV Core Coaching with Jackie YouTube channel, it'll pop up. And then you can search for bulk import. And that video in the description is the Google link for that sheet. And I give you directions in that video how to do that entire thing. So once I had people in there, the one thing I want my sphere to be active on my website. Okay. But the thing is, unless you're going to buy a house, typically you aren't really regularly looking at properties unless like you're scrolling on Facebook or something late at night and you're like, oh, that's a pretty house. And then you click the button and now you're looking at pictures. So what I want to create opportunities for people to have that, even if they're not on those platforms. So what I did was I went into marketing, all marketing, and then I can create a search alert based on any type of hashtag. So when you're creating search alerts for current buyers, you go into their profile, you set up that search alert. But the thing is, if I was going to do that for my entire sphere, that would take a lot of time, especially if, the goal number is like 200-ish people. That's a lot. So I'm going to go to search. And now what I can do, I can create alert for everyone within a certain hashtag. So yes, I have my sphere of influence, but my sphere of influence may not all be buying a house in the same area, right? So I have some sphere who are looking specifically in Arizona because that's where they live. I have, a lot of my family and friends are still back home in Kentucky. So I want to be able to sort them based on their hashtag. So when I say create a search alert, I could say, let me grab my sphere of influence people. And then I could also say people who have Kentucky as their hashtag. So now I'm going to grab people with both of these hashtags. So now instead of putting in a location, I'm going to actually draw it on the map. Okay. Maybe I know a very popular area in Kentucky, or maybe all of these people live in my neighborhood. I want to create a map of information that's going to go directly to them on whatever frequency that I have. So for the people who are in my neighborhood, and let me show you what it looks like. I have this one that goes out, and it goes out daily, which sounds like it's a lot. However, it's only ones that say just listed. So it's going to be those new properties that just listed. I want people to see what is for sale in their neighborhood without them going to a realtor.com or a Zillow.com, because that's my competition. I don't want them on their platforms. I want them on my platform. It's the reason why I use this IDX website. Okay. So once I create that, and notice in my bedrooms, bathrooms, all of that stuff, I leave it blank because I don't want it to only pull certain homes. I want it to pull any home that's for sale in this neighborhood. You can attach the frequency. You do have the option to carbon copy someone. I don't use it in this one. And then I also clicked this button. So anytime there's an open house for a listing that's in their neighborhood, they're going to get an alert. So that way they know when the open houses are. So if this is an area that I am, my goal is to become the expert, then obviously if I'm doing an open house there, I want these people to come and meet me in person. Okay. So that's the first thing that I'm doing to stay in front of my sphere. Now, if you've played around with KV Core at all, on the dashboard, there is a drop-down menu right here. And I can look at property views. My property views are going to show me who is looking at properties on my database. Okay. So I see that Doug and Nancy, looks like they looked at this house. I know that this house is in my neighborhood. Michael also opened it and checked it out. So did Veronica. Michael looked at this one. Phil looked at this one. That's me. Marcus looked at this one. I see all these people, but do you see this person? Do you see the difference between this person's views and this person's? Just unmute and tell me, what's the difference?
It's the fact that they marked as a hot property.
It is marked as a hot property, correct?
One has 3 views and one has 1 view.
Yes, they looked at this house 3 times. So this is what I'm going to do. I know my neighborhood well, and I know that there's a high amount of rentals in the neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to clearance, and I'm going to grab his address right here. And I'm going to go into my flex, and I want to see, is this a rental? Because here's the thing, the only reason why someone is looking at a house in their own neighborhood 3 times is either they're currently in a rental and they love the neighborhood and they don't want to move, or could be that they know someone, they have a family member or friend who wants to be in that neighborhood. So I'm going to go to Monsoon. And this is, it's owner occupied. Okay, so right here, I can see the status of the home. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that's not a rental, because some people do it as owner occupied and then they still use it as a rental property because maybe they owned it beforehand. But I see that they are the owners. So these are the owners. They do have an owner occupied. So maybe they're thinking about purchasing a home and maybe using it as a rental, or maybe they want to upsize or downsize. So this house is 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,100 square feet. The house that they looked at is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath and has, 2,700 square feet. So this is not their same model. Okay. So maybe they're looking at it to think to themselves, like, to compare, what would this house, if this house is going to sell for this amount, and honestly, it's not selling for this amount. This is what it's listed at, right? However, what could my home sell for? When I look at KV Core and I see on my dashboard that someone is looking at a property multiple times, those are not people that I'm going to text. Those are not people that I'm going to email stuff. I'm calling them because I want to have a conversation. I want to introduce myself. I want to see if possibly we've met. Same thing with Daniel and look, Clarence and them. Look, they looked at this house too. Those are 2 different listings in our neighborhood. They looked at this one twice. They looked at this one 3 times. Something's going on with this couple. Either they're thinking about purchasing or they're thinking about selling. But at the end of the day, if I do nothing with this, I've created a disservice. And the only reason that they're being active on my website right now is because I am actively sending them meaningful information about homes in their neighborhood. Okay. So I go through here and basically any name that I see, and guys, look, this is like not even a day ago. Okay. This is 19 hours ago. So these are people who've looked at stuff. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not even a month ago. Yeah. So like 12 days. So 2 weeks ago, I need to make sure that I am reaching out to these people. So I'm going to make a list. If they looked at it one time, those are people that I'm going to send a text to. And I hit the button right here and I just go ahead and text them. And I'll say, hey, I noticed that you looked at the newest listing on Runaway Bay. What do you think about the home? Or I may ask them a question like, hey, this home has been on the market for this many days. What do you think? Because people love to give their opinion. Okay. What do you think the sellers need to do to help move this property quicker? Or I may say, do you know anyone who's looking to move into our beautiful neighborhood? I'm going to ask them a question that typically is a yes or no, or I might give them options to choose from because people are more likely to engage when it's something simple. And I'm always going to send it through text message. So let's say that Clarence and them, right? They've looked at this. So I already have their address. I know where they live. So I am going to use, I'm going to go to Lead Engine Tools. No, I'm not. Sorry. It's in marketing. And I'm going to go to Core Present. And I'm going to create a custom market presentation for them on their address. Now, you do not, this is not an add-on. This is not something that you're buying. So I want to win the listing. And I'm going to put in their address. And I know that this is in Chandler. Whoops. And I know that's Arizona. And I'm going to hit next. Now I already looked it up and I know that there are 4 bedrooms. So I'm going to have to put that in there. It tells me when it was built. It tells me the size. And now I'm going to skip to the presentation. The cool thing about these is it saves them. And it also has a button where you can hit update. So like if you're making this and then you have to come back to it, don't worry, it's going to save it. So this is their address, right? It says presented, or it's presented for, and then here is their address. If I want to make changes, I could put it on here. So like I could include their name. So I could say Charles and whatever. Okay. And then maybe right here, instead of having the address right up there, I'm going to put the address right here. So I'm going to put the address here. And what was their name again? Charles and oh, not Charles. Sorry. So I'm going to go back into Core Present. So I'm going to apply this. I'm going to apply this. And now it's presented for them with their address. So I just make those edits. Now in this Core Present, you can pick multiple slides. I'm not trying to get a listing presentation. I'm trying to provide some value. So I don't want to talk about the value of an agent. I'm unclicking it. I don't want to talk about the home selling process. I'm not going to include that. I'm not going to talk about using a realtor versus an iBuyer. I am going to include this one sheet. Now I'm going to go to what my home's worth. I'm going to click the add a slide button. This is a CMA overview. Here's a big picture. I'm not going to talk about pricing misconceptions. I'm not going to talk about where buyers get their information because again, I'm not trying to send this as a listing presentation. I'm trying to show that I can add value. I do want a market overview. I'm not going to talk about factors in pricing. I'm not going to talk about pricing accordingly because again, I don't want to act like I know that they're going to sell their home. I'm not going to talk about the importance of opening weekends. Buyer and this type of activity. I want to include the buyer demand. I want to include the buyer interest. I'm not going to talk about staging or marketing or property boost or core social. And I'm going to add those selected slides. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say present and share. Now there's lots of different formats and different programs that you can use to create a video link. Okay. What I do, and this is just me personally, I use Zoom. If you download these as PDFs, you can actually create a talking presentation inside of Canva also. But I want to open this preview. So when I open the preview, I'm going to obviously be on this video and I'm going to say, hey, Clarence and Naomi, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Jackie. I'm one of the neighbors, and I wanted to give you some valuable information that I like to give from time to time to homeowners who are in the neighborhood. So I know that you all own the home on 4690 East Peachtree. Based on what's going on in our neighborhood, and then I'm going to give them all this information. Our shelf life is 54 days. This is the average price per square foot. However, that's not a great indication on, like, you can't just take that number and multiply by your square footage to determine, because there's other determining factors when finding the value for a home. I wanted to let you know that all this information is over the last 6 months. So I'm going to talk about what's going on. What's the average of pending? What's the active comps? What's all of those different things? Then I'm going to go ahead and tell them, okay, so this is your house right here. And you'll notice that there are several that have closed and there's a couple that are pending. That's with the yellow. But right now, there's really not a lot of homes in our area near your home that are currently for sale. And there's not. Okay. Depending on your market, obviously, like, your inventory is going to look different. Our inventory is super low. Like, it's like ghostly low. The cool thing about this slide right here, this is the same information that's on that one sheeter, but I always like to click this button that says comparables. If I know what their house is worth, I know it's in this area. Okay. It's in this kind of like price point. I can go ahead and hit view homes. Now it's going to pull up those homes, the one that is active, and then the one that is in pending status. Okay. Now, one thing that I see about this is in Gilbert. Yes, it's a mile away, but that's not the same neighborhood. Okay. It's the one that's right here. This one, however, is in the neighborhood. Okay. And I see that it's right here. See, it's in Sun Groves. So I'm going to go through these pictures. Okay, so one of the things that you can see is a comparable home in this price point. This one has a 2-car garage. I know that your model has 3. Okay, this one still has some carpet throughout the home. It looks like the kitchen has been updated, so they have added quite a bit of cabinet space. Like, that's like the dream kitchen with all the cabinets. Okay, I see that they've upgraded their countertops. Those are not the builder grade countertops. I'm going to talk about the pantry. I'm going to show them everything that they can see in this house. Now that's weird. Like, can we just not have so many cabinets? I mean, I guess, anyhow, to each their own. Okay. So I'm going to show this. I'm going to go through these pictures and I'm going to talk about the things that they have done to this house to be at the price that they are. Okay. They really haven't done a lot to the bathrooms, but the kitchen is really nice. I see their bedrooms. I can talk about the size. Wow, they love their built-ins. Okay, that was a Murphy bed. I'm going to talk about the backyard. Okay, so I'm going to say, okay, so this one, it does have a pool. It looks like we've got travertine tile going to the pool. You do have neighbors in the back if their lot doesn't have it. So we have some low maintenance, mostly desert landscape. So I'm going to go through this by showing people exactly what's available in their neighborhood that's their comparables. I just think that's better than doing the big picture. So then I'm going to keep going through. Now, if this is not what I would list their house for, then I'm not going to show this slide. Okay? If this price is too high, definitely don't show it, because now this is their number. And if this is too low, don't show it, because now you've offended them. Okay. So just pay close attention to that to understand what numbers you want to show them and what numbers you don't. But this is a slide that you can totally take out if you don't agree with it. Then you're going to talk about the demand. Okay. Now, right now, Sun Groves does not have a high demand. One of the reasons is because there's not a lot of inventory right now. Okay. So I'm going to do comparable with supply. There is no supply. Okay. There's very few. Typically, this neighborhood has about 30 active listings because it's a neighborhood of over 1,800 homes. Right now, I think there's like 4. So we don't have that much supply. So obviously that affects the demand. Sungroves is also one of the neighborhoods that has the new casino that's like right in the backyard. So there's a lot of people who have a big feeling about having a casino that close to them. But then I want to talk about the people who are actually looking. So right now, based on market data that I have at my disposal, there's about 5,500 people who are looking for your type of house and your type of price range. We have a lot of buyers who are buying new builds because there's not enough inventory for them right now to buy a resale home. And then that's it. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you this information. I hope you found it helpful. Right over here on the right, you're going to see my phone number and my email. If you have any questions, or if you know anyone who is looking to get more information about what's really going out in the housing market, make sure to have them give me a call. I hope you have a wonderful day. And that's it. And then what I do is I take this video, okay, I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel, okay, because I need some type of link. I'm going to make it unlisted because I don't want to give the public an individual homeowner's information about what their home is worth. Like that would not be very professional of me. And then when I go into my KV Core, I'm going to create an email, and I'm going to add that link. Okay. So you can use, this is the advanced editor template. I know I've talked about this a couple of times. I can add an email header. So that way I know that this email is branded for me. I can add click buttons. The one thing I will say is Google doesn't like flashy emails. We like flashy emails because they look nice, but Google doesn't. Google doesn't like emails that have videos embedded in them or click buttons or a lot of images. They're going to block it and say it's a promotional email, and it's not going to get to someone's inbox. So do I still do it with at least an email header? Yes. So I'll add my email header so that way they know that this is coming from me. And then in the text, when I send it to them, okay, so I'll use a merge tag so that way it's got their name. I was thinking of you today and wanted to send you this. And then I'm going to add a link. Okay, I'll put in the URL, and then this is the text that I want to say. Oops. Okay, so now it's got that. Oops. In this video, you will view information regarding real estate in your neighborhood and a complete, authentic market analysis for, for your home. Then I have to give them a call to action. If you have questions, call me at, and then I'm going to give them my phone number so that way they can call me. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and send this to them. So that way it goes directly to them. Any questions on how to use CorePresent, how to create that video?
How do you, what do you put in the drop file there?
What drop
The
file?
email, well, the email header, it just says you can put something there. What did you end up putting there?
So what I'll add, so in Canva, you can create email headers. I always tell people an email header is kind of like a business card. There's a lot of states where you have to have like your license number. I know Vegas is one, Cali's one. I can't think of a bunch of, I think, I know Illinois, I think you have to have it in there. So you can add that information. I typically put my team logo just because I want, like, they recognize that logo. And then I'll add like my contact information. So I think it's on page 4. So whatever you create from Canva, you can upload on here and then add that. So here we go.
Oh, wow, this is so cool.
So I made this in Canva. You just have to make sure you download it as a PNG or a JPEG.
Okay.
It's got the picture of my husband and I. It's got and then we're the D team, and that's our logo. I've got my brokerage logo. I've got all my compliance, and then I've got our information in case they want to reach out to us.
Okay. I have one more question. With the video, do you embedded it as like a link in there? Are you paying for the $10 a month or whatever to be able to send video?
No, I did no, because this is not a bomb video. So this right here, this is core video. So that's the bomb video that if you're going to be sending things. The thing is, Google, I've listened to a lot of webinars, and the webinars are saying Google is blocking emails that have videos, a lot of push buttons, a lot of different links, just because they're trying to protect the consumers. And so what I'm finding, I'm getting more emails in inboxes and not in promotions when I eliminate all the pretty stuff that I used to create on all of my emails because I thought it looked nicer. But it does me no good how good it looks if it doesn't get to the receiver. So I've been taking that out and then just adding the links just with like the link button. So I just put in like a random, and actually that did not, hang on.
I see you're using a link. Okay.
So now it's just got that video link. So I was thinking of you today and wanted to send you this video link. And I can make that say whatever I want to. So when I go in, once I've added and made the core present, I'm going to go on Zoom or whatever platform, record myself going through this presentation, just basically having a conversation with him. It's like a one-sided conversation, but it's still a conversation. When I save it to my computer, now I upload it to whatever platform. I use YouTube. You don't have to. You can use whatever platform you want to. You can use Dropbox. You can use Vimeo. You can use YouTube. You can use whatever it is. And then if I put it on a public platform, I want to make sure it's unlisted. I don't want Joe Smo to be able to watch this video that I've created just for this specific set of homeowners. So I just want to make sure that I protect myself that way, that everyone else isn't seeing this. It's specifically just for them. Now, am I creating these every day? Yeah. If I can create 2 of these based on people who are on my database looking at properties, I'm providing more value. So I'm giving them valuable information, but I'm also reminding them, hey, guess what? I'm a real estate agent. And yes, it's time consuming, especially the first couple times. But then once it becomes like second nature, if you create 1 of these each day, I mean, if you only do it 5 days a week, that's 5 of these that you're sending out at 0 cost. Because like some of us, especially if you're new into the business, you don't really have a huge bank account for expenses and like things that you can put into your business. This doesn't cost anything. And I guarantee you, if you polled 100 agents, there'd be maybe 2 of them that are doing this. And of those 2, maybe 1 of them are doing it consistently. But it does pay off.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then when I hit send, it sends it straight to them. And then when I go, I'm going to go ahead and not send this. And then if I go back to my dashboard where it had that drop down, I can go to email events and I can see who opened the emails. So, okay, so I sent this to Clarence. If he opens the email, it's going to show up in here. And if he actually clicked the link to view that video, it'll say email opened and clicked, meaning he clicked the video. Now, if it's on YouTube, I can go on YouTube and I can see the number of views. But then, you know, a week later, I might send Clarence a handwritten note that says, Clarence, I recently sent you a video through email about your specific home on Peachtree. If you have any questions about that, let me know. If not, I hope that you found this information informative. I might also even include a couple business cards. So that way, like if he has somebody else in mind that he knows, hey, guess what? I want my cousin to live in my neighborhood, then that way he can send it out. That was the other thing I learned on that call that I didn't think about. We trade business cards for money. That was one of the things that Wally had, I don't know if it was Wally or the other guy that was talking. But like every time you know, give your credit card to someone to pay for whatever it is, also give them a credit card or your business card. Hey, keep this. I'm a real estate agent. If I can help you or any of your family or friends buy or sell a home, I'd love to help you out. I mean, I know a lot of people don't do business cards. I do. I like them. I like going to conferences and getting like a whole pocketbook of them. But like right here, Sarah opened this email. So she viewed this property, but Tracy opened it and clicked it. Now there is in your business analytics on KV Core activity, this lead response rate, it's been incoming soon for a while, but eventually we will be able to see the percentage of our emails that are being opened without having to go through your email events. I don't know if it's going to be a clickable item where you can be like, okay, which emails we're getting the best open rate. And then this is supposed to show us the emails that were actually clicked through. But again, this is coming soon. It's been coming soon for a while. I don't know about you, but my MLS only allows 29 days in coming soon status. So I'm ready for this to get fixed. Somebody needs to send this off to the commissioner. But right here in my engagement, I can see the property views. My property views are going up. So more people are being active on my website. All right. Any questions about KV Core specifically, as far as like using this and how this can kind of benefit? All right. So outside of that, we've got 20 minutes. Let's do a 20-minute Q&A on KV Core. What questions do you have? What problems are you having that I can give you some solutions for?
Jackie, I have one question. This is Jakari in Atlanta. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. How did you get to that page right there where you are right now? I must have looked.
No problem. So over on the left, you're going to go to business analytics. And when you go into business analytics, now, if you're a dork like me, I love statistics. It was my favorite class. I was also a bookie when I was in college though. So like numbers are my thing. So pipeline is going to tell you everybody who's in your system.
Okay.
I don't typically look at this just because I don't move people. Source performance, when you're creating those squeeze pages, you know how it'll say like, where's your source? This is where that comes into play. So you can actually look to see like which sources are giving you the best conversion, but to find where those numbers are, it's KV Core activity.
Okay.
And what's cool is now these will tell you how it's trending in the last 90 days, but these right here, these arrows are actually clickable. So people who do not have a market report set up for them, I can click this button and it's going to take me to a saved filter of those people. Now I'm in my personal KV Core, which I use just for training and agent attraction and things like that. Obviously, most of these clients that are in here are real estate agents, and real estate agents, they don't need a market report. They can do their own. But if I am looking on the buy sell side, I can click this little arrow and it's going to take me to the entire list of the people who don't have them. And so if I have 30 minutes in a day or however much time I have to dedicate to my database, I can go through here, call these people and offer a free market report. You know what? I know a lot of people have questions on what's going on with the housing market. The rates continue to go up. I was watching a TikTok. I know TikTok's not like gospel, but there was a really prominent real estate agent that was talking about something about the Fed and like some kind of points or something, and saying that all things were pointing to rates going up again. Guys, people are really freaking out. Like, I would hate to be a first-time home buyer, like just out of college trying to buy a house right now. And so I feel like the more information that we can give that's valuable and the more things that we can offer to the people that are in our database, the more referrals we're going to get, because people are still buying houses. There's just, I mean, they're not just like running after us though, you know? But now I can go through each of these people. So I can click on my first one. These are all the people who do not have market reports. So right here is where it would be if they had one attached. So now I can call Sarita, ask if she would like a market report, ask her what area she would like for that market report. Would she like to have the market report on where she lives now or her dream location? Hey, Sarita, I know you live in Tempe. Would you like a market report for Tempe? Or would you like one for a different suburb of where you would like to live for your next house?
I love that. That's
Well, I
such a
would like
good
to have this. So now I click add. I grab the location. I say, hey, I'm going to send this out every 28 days, because the last thing I want to do is send somebody an email every week, because they're going to get annoyed. They're going to quit reading it because they're getting too much. It's saturated, or they're going to unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add it. And then when I'm finished with Sarita, there's this little button up here on the right that says next. It's going to take me, it's going to keep me in that safe filter of people who do not have market reports. And now I can go and I can call Frank and offer Frank the same thing. Well, Jackie, do I really have to call all these people to send it out to them? No, you don't. You can add a market report. It's an email. I would call them though. One, because I know that that's 99% of real estate agents won't make the phone call. They'll just add it. And I like to be different and to show a little bit more higher level of professionalism, but you don't have to. When I did it for our neighborhood, I put it on our Facebook page. Hey guys, it's Jackie Durbin. We've met in the neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. I'm married to Chris. So you're going to be getting an email from us once a month with keeping you up to date on what's going on in our neighborhood. I know we all love our neighborhood and none of us want to ever leave this amazing community. But as a real estate agent, I would be giving you a disservice if I didn't give you factual data based on what is currently going on in our market. If you don't want that, text me or reply back to the email and I'll remove that from you. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. And then I just added to all of them. Now, it's time consuming because I have to do this one by one. But again, I know that 99% of the other agents in Arizona will not do this. So I'm putting myself in the 1% bucket right out of the gate.
Do you find that people are receptive to the marketing reports, and are the reports accurate?
Yes and no. Some of them will send me nasty grams that say things like, how'd you get my email? Well, guess what? You are not, well, I can't even say the Queen of England anymore because God rest her soul, she died. You are not the King of England. Your email was not hard to find. What I do find though is that people are not unsubscribing, which is nice. And you all saw my property views. It's all people in my neighborhood. Those are the only people who are in my database, is just our neighborhood. We don't put any other buyers in there. So that, I mean, people are looking at it.
Okay.
But like David, he opened it. Josh, he opened it. Let me find, actually, let me get into my husband's, because I think I have that set up on his. I think just the property alerts are coming from me and the market reports come from him. That's the cool thing. If you're a husband and wife, do one of them in yours and the other one in the other one. So that way, if they unsubscribe to you, maybe they're still subscribed to your spouse. So let me go to email events. And the other nice thing is the market reports that are coming don't look like the squeeze page market report. They're branded. I feel like they look more professional. And it just, I think they look better. They can also like ask questions. So they could ask the question, you know, I need a roofer. Do you know any roofers? So it has a spot where they can ask for referrals for different businesses. Like, hey, I need a carpet cleaner, or I need a dog walker, or I need whatever. And then it sends it to you. So if you position yourself in the neighborhood as, hey, guess what? We are, we meet with people for, you know, all the other business owners, then you can do it that way. Hang on a second, let me grab one. So like these are all property that are, okay, so here's the market report. Okay, so Rachel opened this. So see, it says Sun Grove's area market update. And then when they click on this link, this is where it takes them. They are constantly making changes to these. Because when I first looked at it, the background photo looked like something like up north, like in New England. And I'm like, I live in Arizona. This is not a desert landscape at all. And so they've changed the backgrounds so that way it's more general to whatever area that you're in. It says that it's made for her. So see, look, now we just have a drawing. Here is the neighborhood. We have one current listing. Here's the average price. Here's the house that's for sale. It's been on the market for 28 days.
That's actually my old house.
Is it?
Yes.
Kathy's like, man, I wish I would have kept that old house. But here it shows, so you asked, is it accurate? I don't think this information is necessarily accurate because I know there's more than one listing right now in this neighborhood. However, this pulls from MLS data. So if a listing agent doesn't type in the neighborhood correctly, it may not pull it. That's why I always grab the map. But I did grab the map, so maybe there is only one listing right now in Sun Groves. I would have to go to Flex and verify that. But the cool thing is like it shows the trends for prices and for listings. It shows the one that was the highest sold. It was highest sold back in just July. Right here, if they click on this button, they can go ahead and ask a question. They can go to value and equity. What it'll do is it'll pull in their address. It'll show a picture of their address and their house and say, hey, guess what? This is what your house is worth. There's a maintenance tab, which is kind of cool. The maintenance tab will be like, hey, these are the things that you should be doing as we're going into fall. Then the market trends grabs the whole neighborhood. So like this right here. So this is the market that I follow. And then this is what's going on in this whole area. So that's the market trends. When I do the value and equity, I think I have to probably put in their address for it to come up. But this is just cool, helpful information. I think it looks a little bit nicer. Here's the thing where I'm committed to your journey. So do I have, like, do I need a moving company? Do I need storage? Do I need packing? Do I need cleaners? Do I need whatever they are? Then they can send that question to us. Or if they have specific questions, they can go ahead and put that in there.
Wow,
So-
that's great information. Thank you.
I personally like sending market reports through here just because I feel like it looks a lot cleaner. All right. Any other problems that you're seeing with your KV Core that maybe I can help you out with?
I don't have any problems, but what would you recommend we start with on your YouTube for just getting going?
I would do the 30-day challenge. It's a good kind of crash course on, hey, and it's very small, like practical things. Now, if you're not someone who likes to be told homework, I'm sorry, we're probably not going to get along. You're not going to enjoy all my stuff because I can teach you stuff, but I also want to tell you how to put it into practice. Now, it's up to you if you do it or not, but on that 30-day challenge, at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you, hey, do this. And what it's going to do is it's going to set your system up so that way it'll start working for you. Guys, the only person who enjoys getting into their KV Core every day is me. Really, that's it. I'm the only person who really enjoys it. And the reason why is because I learn something new every time I get in there, or I learn a new way to use something and I test stuff out. So if I'm telling you, hey, do this, it's because I've done it and it's given me good results. But just like anything in real estate, it's consistency. I can't say open houses never work because I did an open house and did nobody show up. That was one time. That would be like me saying I ate a salad, I did a sit-up. Exercise and eating right is not going to give me a 6-pack. Yes, it does. I have to do it consistently though. So I always just tell people, don't give up. You're going to get nasty grams. People are going to send you nasty replies in those emails. Ignore them. You cannot, someone told me this. I can't say that I said it. You cannot say the right thing to the wrong person, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. You just have to find the people who actually want to work with you. And Kathy, I think Ed said that. I think that was Ed that said that on our call.
Yes.
Or on text or
Yes, it
something.
was. We've heard
And
that for years.
I have said that so many times this month. I'm like, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I say wrong stuff to my husband all the time. He hasn't gotten rid of me yet. It's probably because he knows he can't upgrade. I am the upgrade.
You know, and remember, it takes an average 66 days for something to become a habit.
Yes.
Something for you to really do it automated.
Mhm.
And so if you don't practice, you don't keep going. It's like mathematics. If you don't work on it, you don't grow with it, you're going to lose it. Same thing with this, especially when we get into these deep applications.
Yeah, 1,000%. And you know what? Time blocking, I'm great at time blocking. Like I really am. Like I was a teacher. I knew how to like organize my day so well. I got into real estate and it's like hot mess express over here. I'll make a list of things that I need to get done today, and then it never fails. Something comes up. I've got to go show a property, or there's an issue with a transaction in escrow, or, my broker needs something or whatever. And then I don't get to my stuff. So one of the things that I start doing, and it's helped me a lot, is every morning when I wake up, I get into my phone and I'll put in my notes, what are the 3 top things that I have to get done today? No matter what are 3 things? And one of those is always spend 30 minutes uninterrupted looking at the data in my KV core. Now, when I say looking at the data, I'm looking at the property views. I want to see who's looking at properties. If I don't have anybody, like I was on a call one time and God rest her soul. Well, not rest her soul. She's not dead, but God bless her. She said, I don't have anyone looking at properties. And I was like, oh, okay, well then we're going to share properties. Write on your to-do list every day to share one property to 20 people every day. And it can be, look, you can go to listings and you can do company listings and you can use the word check out our new listing because this is your brokerage listings. So I'm allowed to say our. It is our listing. It's not my listing. It's my brokerage's listing because it doesn't matter if my name's on the sign or not. It's still not my listing unless I own the brokerage, which I don't. Okay. But I can do that. And then I could say, what do you like most about this house? Or maybe it's an ugly property. I'm telling you guys, you have to understand the psychology of people. People love to give their opinions. They love to. Okay. So I could say, oh my gosh, look at this bathroom. I feel like I'm at, transported in the 1970s. I see shag carpet in the bathroom. That's disgusting. I would go in there with socks and shoes on. Okay. So, or whatever. My husband posted, he always looks at properties and looks at their pictures. And the photographer, it was in the bathroom and there was a camera and you saw the cameraman's hand and like pushing the button to take the picture. And he put in there in the private remarks, it says, random arm does not convey with property. And it was like, that was funny, but here's the thing. Lots of people engaged in it. Are they all going to buy houses? No. But guess what they were reminded today? We're real estate agents. And when we list your home, we use a professional photographer who does not leave their hand in the image. And so as long as you're doing that, you'll get people on property. But like Kelsey, look, she looked at this a day ago. Tom, this was one of the old builders this is our neighborhood that we live in now. So they're looking at those properties. I need to write all these names down. If they have the text button, I'm going to text them. Hey, I saw you looking at this listing in AJ. Are you thinking of this as a primary residence or as a secondary home? That's a super easy question. They can answer that very quickly. See how it just says email? That means I don't have their phone number. Those are harder to convert. But I could send them another email, or because I have their address, Mr. Beezer Home Holdings Corporation, there's their address. I could send them a handwritten note and include my business card and make sure I include a call to action. But I could do all of those things. So like Kellen and them, I don't have their phone number, but if I click on their name, because I got this from my title company, there's their address. I can send them a handwritten note. Hey, we haven't met yet. My name's Jackie. I'm one of your neighbors, and I'm also a real estate agent specializing in our neighborhood. I make it a point to know every single model and be able to answer any homeowner's question. If you need anything, let me know. By the way, I also do a book club. If you like to read, text me and I'll add you to the Zoom link. Tomorrow, we're going to be discussing blah, blah, blah. Because I have to invite them. I have to create relationships with them. It's like when your parents used to drop you off at school, or if you were one of like the latchkey kids like me that rode the bus and went home because you had your own key and you thought it was cool when you were in the 5th grade. You're just making a friend every day. That's it. Invite them to play. And make sure it's things that you enjoy. So that way you don't end up with a client you don't like. But every single one of these people, I can text them or I can send them a handwritten note.
You know, the thing is, we got to remember that real estate is a cross between running a daycare, adult counseling, and relationship building.
Oh my God, it's everything. And sometimes an insane asylum. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope this was helpful. Next time we are meeting, I'm going to talk about how to customize your behavior automations using AI. The cool thing is in KV Core, there are behavior automations. So if someone does view a property more than one time, it's going to send them a message on your behalf. If someone saves a property, it's going to send an automation on your behalf. If it's been a couple days, weeks, whatever, and now they're active on your website again, it's going to send them an automation. And if you haven't customized those, chances are it doesn't sound like you. And so I'm going to talk about how to use that ChatGPT, and you don't have to get the paid version. I think I had the free version, but you can change up those automations so that way it sounds a little bit more like you. And that way people feel that they know you well. So I'm going to show you how to change up those automations when we meet next week. All right, guys.
Can we get the recordings of this?
So
can we?
Yeah, so the recordings of this always stay on the Excel training group. So if you're in that Excel group, that's where they are. If you're not and you would like all of my past recordings, you can text me and I'll send you the link. It's called the KV Core Webinar Vault. And I have a vault where I add all of my trainings.
Cool. Thank you.
So yeah. All right. Well, you all have an amazing Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. And you know what? Right now you're doing what 99% of the people won't do, because you're trying to figure out new ways to enhance your business of what you're already doing. So keep it up, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye, guys.
Great. Thanks for your time.